if you guys struggle, which I will say that this is pretty common, that most people struggle with really sitting in the love of God, okay? There is an exercise that you can do. We'll talk about neuroplasticity at some point here. I think it's coming in some upcoming weeks. But your brain develops. We believed probably 30 years ago that you got this massive brain development through your growing up years. And then once you hit kind of your teenage years, your brain just slowed down in how it grew and how it made connections. And eventually we knew what we were going to do, and you got very slow growth, but your brain was fixed. You couldn't change it. And as we've had more mapping tools and understanding the brain, we found out the brain is actually really plastic, meaning it can change all the time. And so there are old patterns. If anybody's done cognitive behavioral therapy to try to retrain the brain, part of it is understanding you can retrain the brain. So when I used to do clinical work with people who were having panic attacks or just horrible anxiety, agoraphobia, they wouldn't come out of their house, we would do some things to expose the brain to new experiences in those areas, and it would retrain the brain, and they would no longer be kind of stuck in those patterns. So your brain has incredible ability to change. So if we go back to the first week when we talked about like what was our view of God, and anybody who did not see him as the God of love, because we equate, whether it's parental figures, whether it's people in the church that stood up and kind of represented God to us, like what we thought he would be like, if you have any fear of God, you are not going to run to him for healing and to have a personal relationship. And so we've got a lot of people who really want to develop intimacy with God who are terrified of God. And so one of the things you can do, one of the principles of changing a behavior from a neuroplastic standpoint is if 6 weeks you get up and you repeat an activity over and over again every day, that's about the length of time for you to deconstruct a pathway in your brain, and then 3 weeks to reconstruct. So think about this. And this was a challenge for me because I did not understand the love of God, because God was a dictator. I didn't really like him. I liked Jesus. I was really terrified of God. Didn't realize that. I would run around saying, oh yeah, I love Jesus, I love God. But at the bottom line, I just did not understand that God was a safe person. And so I had to go through a journey. But one thing I was challenged to do, which was so helpful, was to wake up every day before my feet hit the ground, wake up every day and say, Lord, can you give me a picture of your love for me? And I probably did it. I still do it sometimes because it's just so great to kind of wake up and go, give me a picture of your love for me. But I did it consistently for 6 weeks. And I actually would write down the things that he gave me, because it was pretty cool to go, wow, I didn't even understand that as a context of your love. Tucker's collage came up. Steve put it together because I tell the story that in the middle of saying, I'm really trying to understand your love for me and how you want to relate. Like, you're so far away, but yet you want to be personal with me. One morning I wake up and my eyes, I don't open my eyes in the morning because Tuck sleeps on my side of the bed and he doesn't get up till I get up. So if I get up at 11 o'clock in the morning, he's in bed with me. Steve's always up running around. I'm not usually up at 11 o'clock in the morning, but I'm just saying he will not get up until I get up. But sometimes if I'm sleeping too long, all of a sudden I'll feel his face plop on the bed beside me, and he's like staring in my eyes, like, when are you getting up? When are you getting up? When are you getting up? And I'll feel that puppy breath on my face, and I keep my eyes closed really tight, because if I even move a little bit, he starts flipping around in circles, all excited. She's up, she's up, she's up. And so this one day I'm laying there, and I feel his breath on me, and then his head just plops right, like he does it intentional, so it like moves the bed, like maybe she'll get up if I, and all of a sudden I hear in my ear, God said, you think Tucker's excited that you're getting out of bed? I'm 10 times as excited as Tucker for you to get out of bed and spend the day with you. And so of all the things probably that God taught me about his love that were transformative for me, that whole visual of Tucker, because it was so close and so I'm like, no, I don't know that anybody. Steve probably loves me as much as Tucker, but it's hard to believe that anybody could love me as much as this dog, right? And so for God to say, yeah, like I'm more excited for you to get out of bed and for us to start our day. And I will tell you that my concepts of God being distant between developing gratitude continuously to understand we do it more for us, right? Not because he needs all this worship because he's an egomaniac. It's a way we share relationship. And that kind of ability to focus on him with gratitude changed me. Coupled with, God, give me a picture of your love for me, were two really important things that radically changed my relationship with God. They set me up for healing that needed to occur from many, many wounds that I had earlier in my life. And it was just the turning point. So if you are saying, wow, like I need more, I don't feel it, I don't understand it, I would really encourage you to try that, because it just, I've heard many people say it was a real game changer for them if they struggled.